I'm gonna be very honest with you. Initially, when this whole anime was announced, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, here we go. Train wreck incoming. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? This is about to be bad. I must go. The time is now. I must go. It's time to get out. And before we continue, just hit that subscribe button and that bell to get notified. I talk about the world of anime and manga, and I think you'll appreciate it. Hit it. Because in case you never heard of Trigun, Trigun is a classic anime that was produced back in the day, and it's a kind of cult staple. Think of like the Cowboy Bebops of the world. A lot of people absolutely loved and adored Trigun. And while I wasn't necessarily completely on the bandwagon of, no, don't remake the classic when it comes to Trigun, when they initially announced, yo dog, we're doing a Trigun remake, but here's the catch. It's 3D CGI! I was like, oh, okay, so it's dead on arrival, yeah. However, there were a couple of particulars behind the scenes that did give it a little bit more credence and a little bit more validity. The fact that the studio behind it that would be animating it is Studio Orange. Now, Studio Orange are the people behind the anime Beastars, which is a 3D CG anime, and for the most part, nobody has ever complained about the 3D CG for Beastars because it fits very well, and Studio Orange did a fantastic job. My problem with that was, well, okay, it works for Beastars because those are like animals, and animals being in 3D CG isn't going to be as jarring to the eye opposed to looking at what are supposed to be human beings or humanoid creatures, because that's where it starts to feel like it doesn't look as good as 2D. So upon hearing about Trigun Stampede, I thought, oh gosh, why are they even bothering to do this? This is going to be absolutely horrible, and I'm here to tell you guys, I am absolutely pleasantly surprised and shocked. Because fam, this Trigun anime blew me away in terms of, I thought again, I'm coming in and it's like, oh boy, here we go, Appleseed, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm still with a preconceived notion that how can you really do a full-blown TV anime to the quality of what at the very least we would accept from, like, you know, the standards that 2D had set forth. How are you going to be able to do that with 3D on top of the fact that you're already embarking on an incredibly tall order of readapting a classic? Oftentimes when you revisit a classic, but especially remaking it, it could go either way. It could go really, really bad, or it could be impressive. Oftentimes it's usually the former, where it's really, really bad. But man, based off the first episode of Trigun Stampede, I'm here to tell you guys that our fears, or at the very least your fears if you haven't watched it yet, have been somewhat alleviated in terms of could they pull it off. Simply put, alone just speaking on the aesthetics, the 3D CGI animation that they have, the new look to Vash the Stampede that they brought forth, like, can they get it done was a big question that was on my mind, and they succeeded in that aspect. Because to be honest with you, I very quickly into watching the episode forgot that I was watching 3D CG. Forgot that this was, you know, not my typical anime, so to speak. Like, it kind of was a pretty easy walk-in in terms of enjoying it for what it is. I didn't feel like, oh well, this would totally be better in 2D animation. Like, I kind of was drawn into it, and I feel like they succeeded even more so than even the praise that I gave to Dragon Ball Superheroes. Dragon Ball Superheroes, it was a little bit more of a difficult time to accept 3D CG in my Dragon Ball, but with Trigun, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really take much more than a couple of minutes of me watching the episode to be completely entrenched into what's going on. Again, the colors are very vibrant. It's kind of, you would throw the argument, maybe polar opposite to the original Trigun. Original Trigun, you know, he's in no man's land. It's very dry. The color palette isn't, you know, popping out. This one, they tried a little bit more to make it look a little sparkly, whatnot, despite the fact of, again, the extreme circumstances that the story brings forth of Trigun Stampede, having them, you know, again, in these wild places. So 150% I have to say that if you was scared of checking out this Trigun anime, whether it be that you're a fan of the original or you're a newcomer and you was like, it sounds kind of cool, but that 3D CG stuff is not for me, I'm here to tell you that this is coming from somebody that has been notorious for coming at 3D CG saying, you're not welcome in the 2D era, you know what I'm saying? And I am 100% saying saying that, no, this is legit in terms of art and animation. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. There's still some scenes that you could tell the frames look a little dodgy or whatnot, but is it anything to complain about in terms of like comparing it to the Berserk 2016 anime? Not in 100 million years, not according to this first episode. Again, it could slide down, you know, we could be 7 episodes in and suddenly we're looking like Guts walking across the screen jittering and stuff, so that's a possibility. But in terms of at the very least off the gate, it was pretty freaking nice. I mean, it starts off in like this whole space thing, and we got to talk about that in a second, because it's kind of crazy that I was initially, before even watching this, like, I'm probably gonna watch it and have to rent. Then I come in here and I'm here to tell you that aesthetically, no, they didn't drop the ball at all. However, it seems as though whoever was the minds behind this thing decided to take it in a different direction, despite the fact that a lot of people initially thought like, oh wow, this is probably gonna adapt the whole story. This is gonna be, you know, the Trigun of 2023, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna really be faithful. And based on this first episode, it seems as though, especially some of the fan backlash from the original Trigun anime, fans are upset about the changes to Trigun that Trigun Stampede has made. They're not even mad about the 3D CG. In fact, again, most of the things I'm seeing is praise and people saying, yo, it looks great. However, they've changed certain characters. They've changed the ages of characters. Like, there's the reporter girl that meets up with Vash. They changed her up a bit. She's not the same character. She's, I think, younger now. They have her with this partner, this alcoholic dude. Like, they changed quite a bit. On top of that, one of the major factors that I'm seeing that people are coming at Trigun Stampede for is that they basically ruined a lot of mystery. And I'm imagining the reason they did that is that this is an anime adaptation for people that have already seen Trigun in mind, but also people that haven't seen it. What I mean by that is that they feel like, well, if you already watched Trigun, why do you care about the mysteries? You already know them, right? So we're gonna put them all in your face, you know, starting off with Vash and his brother and stuff like that, and even going into Vash's arm. Like, all of these mysteries about Vash within like the first few minutes of the episode, but definitely within the first episode, it pretty much blew away like 70 to 80, maybe even 90% of mysteries that you would have about Trigun, because stuff with Vash's brother, Vash's past in general, there was so many different things about Trigun that kept you wanting to watch, simply put, because, well, what's this mystery? And yo, that's a crazy plot twist, I didn't expect that to happen. So the fact that they are maneuvering that and completely saying, yo, within the first few minutes, let's tell you all about Vash, his past with his brother. Let's tell you about what happened here, his brother basically seemingly being evil. Like, it gives you all of the mysteries up front, and a lot of fans are not happy about that. They're like, yo, you completely destroyed the foundation of Trigun, because now it doesn't have any more of those mysteries to look forward to. But I want to counter argue that to, again, not only one, like I said, if you watch Trigun, does it really matter about the mysteries? You know the mysteries. But for newcomers of the series, they're probably not going to have that context behind to be mad of like, hey, you're giving me all these mysteries anyway. So it's probably that Studio Orange and the people behind this new Trigun Stampede anime is looking at it as, yo, dog, we're gonna go all out in other aspects. Because with the 3D CG, one of the cool things that I noticed very early on in the episode is that the shots just feel so much more grandiose. For crying out loud, the anime starts off in space, and when you've seen certain like planets and stuff like that, it just feels absolutely huge. The spaceship in space driving and stuff like that, I was like, this feels enormous. And stuff like that is an extremely tall order, and usually they have to go 3D CG for things like that anyway. So oftentimes it'd be jarring. You'd be in the middle of a scene, you're watching your 2D anime, and then boom, all this 3D stuff. Considering this is all flowing together nicely and it's 3D already, now you can get really epic and awesome shots like that. So maybe Studio Orange and the people behind this Trigun Stampede anime are like, alright, we're not doing it with the mystery, we're not going to play up all the mysteries or whatnot, because with this 3D CG we can do a lot more and make some of these action pieces the craziest things you've ever seen. We can make some of these scenes that maybe were okay-ish in the original anime, we can make them extra grandiose. If they go down a slippery slope where it'll really ruin the credibility completely of Trigun, is if they take major strides overall for the future of the story and go in a different direction. Like, if they completely switch it up at the end and have it go a totally different route, that's where I think Trigun fans are going to be even more upset. But at the same time, I feel like it's not necessarily a bad anime for people that don't know about Trigun. I just gotta be honest with you. Because of the fact that they were able to deliver on the aesthetics, which was the most worrying part, I do want to have a little bit of faith and say, well, okay, it's not the same Trigun. It's clearly different in nature. They switched things up. Vash, everybody is just a little bit different. The characters aren't the same characters per se, and they put all the mysteries up front, but they look like they're setting up for a banging, action-packed anime. And I think, yeah, it might not be to old Trigun fans that really love the lore and the way it was set up and whatnot. It might be disappointing to them, but I think that for newcomers to this is going to be massive and big. And it's crazy. I'm not on the bandwagon of pushing 3D CGI, you know, that's not my wave, but if it gets the job done and it accomplishes what I was hoping for it to accomplish, then I am going to give it praise. And I have to say, despite the changes, despite the fact it is not the same Trigun, despite the fact that we are in the 3D CG era with it, that was a great first episode. I loved that first episode. Vash was awesome. The action is cool. The art and animation is dope. The music is cool. Everything about it so far checks out, and I'm excited, if anything, like, okay, if we are going a different direction, how they're gonna handle this, because it's pretty freaking good. Like, it's good. And not to mention the fact that just in general, the stuff that they did adapt somewhat correctly from the original Trigun is freaking awesome. Like, I don't feel Vash's character is way off than the original Vash. Like, original Vash was kind of, you know, a jokester, so to speak. Obviously, there's more to him than that, and I think that that's where some of the mysteries lie. If they're going to focus in on seeing his character development, diving more into him, whether he's serious or joking. But he got a $6 million bounty on his head, and he's so crafty and not even purposefully doing it that he's able to maneuver out of that. Where do they do that at? Vash the Stampede. So even, I'll throw the argument that it even has some of the spirit of the original Trigun. It feels like Trigun. It's just a little bit different, and especially if you haven't watched Trigun in a long time, I don't see how you could really be so much engulfed in hating this new thing for being different. Different doesn't necessarily mean bad. In fact, we're one episode in. You gotta give it a little bit more. You know, they say the 3-episode try. If by 3 episodes you really feel like they ruined Trigun, maybe, yeah, okay, whatever. But again, it's your choice. Maybe you just thought that first episode was shitty and you want to drop it, and that's okay too. And I'm gonna even take it a step further, and I know some people are probably gonna be like, okay, Fornev, you're bugging. I would throw the argument this is probably one of the best looking, if not the best looking, 3D CG TV anime out. I would throw the argument that, especially for it mainly primarily focusing in on humanoid characters, Vash and Meryl, like, yeah. Honestly, I feel like aside from the criticisms of them changing it, anybody that says that like this looks horrible for the 3D CG is flat out lying, or they just really hate 3D CG to that point that they can't appreciate any aspects of it. Because again, Studio Orange, thank you, because you alleviated some fears in terms of I thought this was gonna be an absolute mess. But I'm extraordinarily curious what you guys think. The moment is here. Vash the Stampede has returned with this readaptation, Trigun Stampede. If you've watched that first episode, if you're a newcomer, what did you think of it? Did it feel like, yo, oh snap, this is awesome? Or you felt like something was missing, or you couldn't get into it? And if you're an old timer to Trigun, you're a vet, you saw Trigun back in the day, whether it be on Adult Swim or whatever, do you feel like it's not doing it justice? Do you feel like the changes are too jarring? The characters don't feel the same? You maybe don't get into the art and animation? Like, what is your complaint? If you're a Trigun OG, how do you feel about Trigun as it stands right now? And are you gonna keep on watching it? Personally, I'm watching this. They got me sold, and I know it's different from Trigun. I get it. I love the original Trigun, but I'm accepting of this new Trigun is not that bad at all. It's actually pretty freaking awesome, and they got me. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more. Vash, I see you. People, chill. Give it some time. It's pretty cool. I get it. Mysteries are a little bit out there, but looks like it's gonna be epic, and I'm excited.
Lights be flashing and looking at me, such a odd unique, yet I'm so unique and you're looking at me. If the walls could talk, they would probably repeat, and I'd probably say, bitch, get the fuck off me.